The difference is made possible by the following small businesses: Real Property Management Focus, the choice to make when you want to feel confident and secure in knowing that your investment is earning the profit it deserves. The Financial Point, your go-to spot for all things finance. Platinum Eagle Insurance, providing the widest range of insurance options to make insurance easy and seamless. WeatherTech General Contracting, we make your home renovation dreams a reality. Lender's Choice Credit Solutions, utilizing our attorney-backed processes and only charging clients if and when results are obtained. This is how we have made the difference for over 10,000 clients and counting. And by Power on Utilities Concierge, your one-stop shop for all of your home's essential services.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Real Talk with Brian Poduska. I'm your co-host Nathan Smith, along with Carrie Cook. We've got a great show for you today. Nutritionist Laura Anderson is here with Freedom Health Centers, along with Kelsey Burks from Keep Safe Bookkeeping. We got a great show planned. You know, as entrepreneurs and small business owners, we set out to be results-oriented. But what are the processes and procedures that we all need to implement in order to achieve our goals? Stick around. We'll talk about it. Real Talk starts now.
What is up, everybody? Happy Thursday in the frigid DFW areas where we're coming to you from. Hopefully it's a little warmer where you're listening at. But wanted to welcome everybody. Nathan, thank you for that great intro. That was perfect. Our topic of the month is results orientation and the processes, procedures, and execution that you have to get to the goals that we talked about at the end of last year when we discussed mindset and goal setting. So excited to dive into this topic today. We have some awesome guests. Co-host today, as you already saw, Nathan Smith, and Carrie Cook is our other co-host. Looking forward to seeing you guys again and then meeting our guests as well. So really quickly, before we bring them in, wanted to talk about what we're about, what our show is about. If you haven't seen us, this is Real Talk with me, Brian Poduska. I have rotating co-hosts every week. Nathan and Carrie are my co-hosts today. Every month we have a different business topic that we dive into with business owners, with local entrepreneurs, really to get their perspective from a business owner standpoint, as well as shed some light, shine a spotlight on them and their business. Opportunity for other folks who may not get exposure to them to see what they're all about and know who they are. So that is what Real Talk is. We do have real talk. Sometimes we swear, sometimes we joke around. Well, we always joke around, and I guess we always swear too. So hopefully that doesn't offend anybody, but if it does, oh well, here we go. That being said, really quickly, my company is Real Property Management Focus, where we focus on your real estate investments. It is a full-service real estate brokerage with our wheelhouse clients being investors. So we have some unique tools that are available to them and to us to find investment properties for them, analyze those investment properties, purchase those investment properties, manage those investment properties, and then ultimately, if you're ready to sell them, we can sell them for you. So that is Real Property Management in a nutshell. Again, if you're a property investor or thinking about getting into the real estate investing game, would love to talk to you. Again, we love doing it, and that's our passion. So enough about Real Property Management. Let's bring in our co-host, Lennon, please. What's up, Nathan? What's up, Carrie?
How you doing?
Hey there.
You know what? It's been a blazing hot start, not weather-wise, but business-wise to this year. So it's one of those that, as you can attest to, Carrie, in the real estate world, it's still hot. We still have a lot going on. So I'm treading water, trying to keep my head above water. But hey, I'm always happy to have this like 1 hour, really kind of therapeutic session to talk with you guys and your guests and just sit back and enjoy.
Well,
so how's your year going?
Well, now that you and I finally got to have lunch, it's going much better.
which was awesome. I'm
we only
still
took
reeling a little bit.
It only took us 6 months to get together. So that's, now Carrie and I had lunch. You and I have had lunch. Lyndon and I have known each other for 100 years. So we've had.
That's unfortunate, but that's all right.
You can't pick your friends, or you can pick your friends. What's the saying? I don't know.
You can pick their noses, but
your friends' nose. Yeah, that's. I don't think that applies here. I don't know.
It's taking a turn for the worse here.
Boy, that really did.
Oh man.
What about you, Carrie? How you doing?
Doing good. Bold started today, so starting the year off with a bang.
What started?
Bold.
Oh, Bold. Yeah. Okay. So you're, all right. You're getting all smart and stuff, huh?
Trying. It's coaching on steroids, man. I tell you what, it's crazy.
I'm not going to pretend that I know what that is. So if you can, I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Keller Williams offers it. It is coaching. It's 1 day a week, and then you have all these goals, like I think 100 contacts a week, and different things that you have to do. But it really jumpstarts your business for the year.
Is it an acronym?
No.
Just called Bold, huh? Okay.
Uh-huh.
It's a big.
We'll say I am bold,
thing.
and someone would say, "Yes, you are."
Okay.
I have my
it's
bold.
It's almost like an affirmation to
bracelet. Yeah.
Who you want to be. Interesting. I like that a lot.
So normally they have like the color red face paint. Carrie dialed it down. She didn't want to blend into her wall, so she came without it today. But
I should do the blue, huh?
That would work.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, let's dive into this topic of results orientation. So as we wound down last year and talked about kind of getting that mindset, that entrepreneurial mindset, and goal setting, and then kind of backing up that goal setting, that's kind of where we're headed now in the results orientation phase. So, with that mindset of how do we drive results, what processes, what procedures, what routines do we have? Are we instilling? Are we missing in our business to really propel it forward? So that's the topic we're going to get into. I look forward to diving right into it. Why don't we, what we're doing now, we'll bring in your guests and let's let them introduce themselves really briefly, or you guys can do a brief intro. And now, as we were backstage, we're going to have some unique viewpoints because of what they do for a living. So I'm looking forward to that discussion. And then we'll take a commercial break about 15 minutes into the show, but let's dive into the topic right away. And then we'll give them a chance to dive deeper into their business and how they got there on the back end of the show. So
awesome.
Ladies first, Carrie, fire away.
You always do that to me. Well, my guest today is Laura Anderson. She's with Freedom Health Centers in McKinney, and she's a nutritionist, and she just happens to be mine as well. I've been working with her for a few months and have seen really good results. I've lost weight and eating better. She would tell you sometimes I don't do like she wants me to, but that's okay. So that's my guest today.
Hi, Laura.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're fantastic. Thank you for joining us today. Your business is especially appropriate, the health and wellness angle on, with New Year's resolutions and everything else. I think I heard the statistic the other day. I don't know if it's just a Google thing or if it's an actually fact-based stat, but most people lose their New Year's resolution 14 days into the new year. So January 14, everybody's off the bandwagon. Whether or not that's true, we're gonna tap into you to figure out how to continue that and what we need to do to continue our health and wellness. So thank you for joining us today. Look forward to hearing more about you, your business, and most importantly, your perspective. Nathan, fire away, buddy.
Thanks, Brian. So I've got Kelsey Burks on the show today. We've known her for about a year, and she's actually a client of mine. She owns her own company called Keep Safe Bookkeeping. If you're in the entrepreneurial small business space, you know that bookkeeping is something that is vitally important, and so many people, including myself, many times have gotten it wrong. And she's there to pick up the pieces and help you not make really big mistakes. And so, aside of that, she's a fantastic mom, really great person. I'm super excited to have her on today. So, Kelsey, if you'll hop in and just kind of say, share about Keep Safe Bookkeeping, how you got into that, what inspired you, and what excites you about what you do.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you guys for having me. I'm the owner at Keep Safe Bookkeeping, and currently I am also the bookkeeper, and I manage small businesses bookkeeping. So that would be anyone who makes a revenue of anywhere from $100,000 to $5 million in revenue. And I basically get them in line so that they're always on time for taxes, never missing a beat, and actually ultimately hoping to save them money and make the right decisions as far as budgeting and investment decisions and things like that go for their small businesses. And I started this business almost a year and a half ago now, and it's just really blown up. The year 2020 and 2021, the most small businesses ever, most LLCs ever were created. And it was the perfect time to really get into bookkeeping and offer a virtual service. Because old school bookkeeping, you used to hire a bookkeeper and have a lady in your office who did it. And now it's something that can be done just through technology. I have clients all over the US that I'm able to work with. So it's been really exciting, and the business is just continuing to grow, with this month being my best month in business in the last 14 months.
That's awesome. So the Great Resignation is a great thing for you.
Thank you.
You're familiar with the Great Resignation. I've picked that up over the last, 6 months, that everybody's resigning from their corporate jobs because they're like, F it, and I'm gonna start my own business. So yeah, your pool or lake to fish in just got a lot bigger.
Yeah, it really did. It's crazy how many, like every business that I've worked with is a new business within the last 2 to 3 years. So it's really cool.
What do you think? Just quick question before we get on our topic. What do you think? Maybe more than one answer, but what would you say is people's biggest mistake in terms of, you can say not hiring you, that could be reason, but if they haven't, when you look at somebody's books, like what's the thing, like, oh my gosh, you guys are really missing this?
Filing your taxes late and not keeping the proper track of your books, making business expenses from your personal account and personal expenses from your business account. Those are all the biggest no-nos that I see, and it ends up costing people way more money in the end.
Good. So we're going to have a lot of hand slapping going on, I think. How we run a business and how we run our health and wellness with our guests. Well, thanks for joining us today, Kelsey. Appreciate you coming on and lending some expertise to the topic. The topic of the month, as we said, results orientation. So I'm going to kick this off. We've got a few minutes before break, our first break, and I'll kick it off with a question. Health related. So Laura, this is directed towards you, but obviously open to everybody. So if you have an opinion on this, feel free to jump in. But I guess I'd say it similarly to Nathan. From a health and wellness standpoint, what is the biggest downfall, or what is the biggest issue out there that you see? Of course, it's a broad-based general question, but what is the biggest issue? And then from a results orientation standpoint, I want to save that to the back end of our commercial break so we can dive into some of the solutions. But if we get some of the issues and the problems on the table, let's do that. So Laura, from a health and wellness perspective, what's your thoughts on that?
I think one of the biggest things I see is people getting stuck in the mentality of all or nothing. So either they're all in and staying on focus with what they're doing, or I've already blown it and I'm going to continue to go down this path. So I think having that mentality of it being all or nothing is where I see a lot of people get hiccup in.
Okay, so that makes sense, especially I would think as if you're a New Year's resolution, is to eat better or, run X amount of miles per day. You're probably biting off a heck of a lot more than you're either prepared to chew or want to chew, which then I'm assuming probably makes you negative towards it. I know I've been guilty of it. Luckily I have a pretty good regular routine, at least on the exercise side. I eat like crap, so that I got to get better at that. But
you need to slap it out of your hand.
Yes, exactly. I need you, my angel on my shoulder, slapping the burger out of my hand.
We probably should have had that queso the other day then.
Yeah, Laura, your hands would have been really busy at our table.
That would have been my workout for the day, huh?
That's right, little kung fu stuff. So, all right, so that's a good starting point for after the commercial break, which we got coming up. So all or nothing on the fitness side. Kelsey, we'll circle back to you to figure out what the issues are. We already have some of those on the table, but we're going to be solution-based. So we'll do that right after the break.
Today's show is brought to you by the following small businesses.
Liberator Health Insurance, the best value in the health insurance industry. Are you paying too much for your health insurance? Would you like to hear about an alternative to your current health insurance? How about an average of around 30 to 50% savings on your premiums? At Liberator Health Insurance, you can see any doctor, any hospital, small copays, and low deductibles. And there is no referral to see a specialist, all with very affordable premiums. For a quick quote, call or text Greg Holberg today at 214-886-4688.
And by Wines with an Appeal. Wines with an Appeal offers entertaining and educational wine tasting events to help you fundraise, recognize your clients, or just have a fun night out with friends. At our fundraising events, we strive to provide a nice variety of reds, whites, sparkling, and dessert wines. We typically offer a good variety of the core varietals, along with some interesting blends. We sample wines from all over the world. Call or email for details on how it works and how your event could be available at no cost to you. And now back to the show.
All right. Thank you to our sponsors. We love you so much. Every week we get to enjoy hearing about your businesses. So thank you guys for sponsoring both Wines with an Appeal and Liberator Health Insurance. Getting back to the topic at hand, we've got a couple of the biggest issues from the health and wellness perspective, according to Laura, and Kelsey threw out a couple big issues from a small business and bookkeeping aspect. So the all in, all or nothing mentality on the, your health and wellness. Go a little bit deeper, if you wouldn't mind, on that, Laura. And then number two, how do we, taking it back to the results orientation side, right? Mm-hmm. How do we fix that? What do we do? What are some of the properties, practices, procedures, routines? I think routines probably most importantly. How do we fix that?
Yeah, so often when you have that all or nothing mentality, it's like I mentioned, it's you're all in, you're focused on what you're doing for your health and wellness, and then you allow one thing to spiral you off, right? Like I didn't get my workout in that day, or that meal that I ate wasn't completely on plan and what I should have been doing and what my goals are, and then allowing that to spiral you completely off the other direction. So going from that all or nothing, the solution would be then to change that to always something. So don't always think it has to be all or nothing. It's just always something. Every day, every meal, what have you, is an opportunity to work towards that goal that you have for yourself. Or if you have something that was maybe not the decision you wanted to make or helping you with those goals, it's okay, right? It's just like in business. We have a really great month one month. Okay, well, that month's over. We have a new month. Now we need to look at this new month. Or maybe we had a really bad month. It's a new month. We need to look at it that way as well. It's the same with health and wellness. If you have something that gets you off from what you're working towards, don't allow that to let you go the complete other direction. Just always be making conscious efforts to make good decisions at each moment you have available.
So like yesterday, whenever I had that one Thin Mint?
Yeah, Carrie and I just talked about that. She's like, I had one Thin Mint. I was like, okay, well, we had one Thin Mint. She said I didn't enjoy it as much because Thin Mints are supposed to be in the refrigerator and they weren't, right? So
right. Hold on. I'm calling timeout. I'm calling your bullshit. You cannot have just one Thin Mint. It's not physically possible.
I did. I was good. I only had one.
It was good. And so she told me about the one. So there's that accountability and support, right? But she didn't allow that to be like, well, I had one, so let me go ahead and just have 5 while I'm at it.
Do you find so for me, we had this competition at our office with some of the other agency owners from not only Dallas but Fort Worth, and it was this big deal where it seems like, I don't know if this is a guy thing or not, I don't know, but when you try to make a change, it's like, I'm going to do everything. I'm going to drink a gallon of water. I'm going to work out 6 days a week. I'm going to eat like so good. And like we were doing like reading all this personal development stuff, which is all great. And I try to do that regardless. But I didn't make it. We were supposed to go 90 days. I kind of ended around the time that Brian said, like 15 days in. I just forgot to work out one night, basically.
That sounds like 75 hard challenge.
Yes, that's a very popular when people do that as well. And I mean, that's all great, but I for me, and maybe you experience this with some clients, like I do better when I'm just doing, if I'm working out, if it's not realistic for me to work out 6 days a week, just because that's where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to get to that point, but sometimes I think I bite off more than I can chew, and I'd rather work out 3 days a week and just start making better food choices. That's what I'm actually. I didn't know you were coming on, so I'm actually working with another person. Sorry, Laura.
That's okay.
That's the same stuff.
As long as people are getting healthy and well, that's what I care about.
I'm learning the same thing about just making better decisions. But it's like when you, no pun intended, when you take smaller bites of your goal, like it's just a little more digestible.
Yeah.
And now you can actually see progress. Because sometimes it just seems like when you try to, it's like if you haven't worked out and you go to the weight room and you're just like and then the next day you're in the hospital because you can't move. Like it's
right.
Really, and so it's a moderation thing. But I think that's how people find success is they just move the ball down the field instead of just trying to throw the Hail Mary and fix it all. And that's what works better for me.
Yeah, having the marathon mentality versus a sprint, right? Look at the longevity of where this is going to take you all throughout your life. And then the other one is there's only one way to eat an elephant, right?
Bite
at a time.
Right. And I think that goes into, ultimately what we're talking about, because when you, first of all, setting goals for your business, for your life, and we talked about this last month, I mentioned that book, Success is Not an Accident, that I'm working through, and so, we've been working through that as a leadership team, and it amazes me how, as a business owner, and really just anybody, that you should have goals. I mean, like if somebody asks you, hey, should you have goals? You're going to say like, well, yeah. How much of my life and people that I know, like, I don't know how I got through anything without setting goals. And then, that's kind of what we ended up with last year. But now it's about, how do you take those bites? How do you what are the daily processes and procedures by which you're able to measure your success and then see, okay, I'm actually checking some of these goals off. And so I'll just turn that over. When you're setting up, when you got into the bookkeeping business, you probably, I'm assuming, had, I'd like to have this many clients, or I'd like to be here by X date. What is you measure your day by? Like, this has been a successful day. This has been a successful month. I'm checking these boxes. I'm moving closer to my goal. How do you discern that success rate or ratio?
So I think you hit it kind of on the head, like moderation, first of all, in any aspect of your life. Like if you physically can't do something 7 days a week, but you say, I'm going to do it 7 days a week, you're always going to fail. You're always going to end up failing. You're always never going to feel like you hit that goal. And so same in my business. I started with absolutely nothing, no clients, nothing, but I was like, I just have to get to one. Once I get one, then I've got to get to two. And I literally teach my clients this. I call it the compounding effect is how I speak of it. You get one, then you get three, and then you add two more and you have five, and then you add three more and you have eight. And as you build that kind of like trickles down, and those people are going to talk to their people and they're going to come back to you. And then it's just a compounding effect. And you can't expect to, like, next month I'm going to have 10 clients. Next month, I'm going to have 100 clients, or the people who like, I see it a lot in business where people are like, I want to make 6 figures. You've got to know how to make $5,000 first. You've got to know how to make $50,000 first before you can get to $100,000, So that's really how I built mine, is I just compounded my business. I was like, I just kept consistently doing the actions that I knew were producing me results. And now here I am 14 months later in my business, and I've hit my first long-term big goal that I wanted to hit, and making $10,000 in a month. That was like my first big, I guess, like, I've hit my thing. I've done the thing, like I've done what I wanted to do, but now that's a new goal. Now I can look at, okay, now I want to hit those $20,000 months. But I wouldn't have gone from month 1 to month 2. Like, I wouldn't have got where I'm at in that short amount of time if I would have set an unrealistic goal for myself.
Did you pop the champagne when you got to 10 grand?
Do what?
Did you pop the champagne when you got your first goal, when you got to 10 grand?
I haven't yet because it will be by January 31st. So
Okay.
I can't celebrate quite yet.
Okay, good.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's going
Celebrate
to
in the fourth quarter. You got to
She's
wait.
picking out that fine champagne.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
yeah.
right.
All right.
I'm
So
window shopping right now.
I've got a great question for the group that you sparked me on here. You got to start with one client, right? And then you go from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, the compounding effect aspect. Question for the group. How long from the beginning of your, you said, I'm starting a new business, whatever day that was, how many days, months, weeks, hopefully not years, did it take to get client number 1?
2 weeks.
Okay. Carrie?
I'm thinking. I've been doing this a while. I'm not going to count the time I was with that other broker. Since I've been on my own, pretty much the first month.
Okay. Nathan?
That's pretty good for real estate. It was 3 months because you've got to be obviously licensed in the financial industry. My first license was insurance. And as much as I love the state of Texas, their insurance department lost my fingerprints. I was kind of handcuffed for a while, but I just kept learning and kept stimulating. My first clients were actually my parents.
That helps.
I want to say something to that though. My first client, I charged them $150 for the service I performed, just one flat fee. Now my average client is about $500 per month, so $6,000 a year. So that's a big jump. Like even there's not just growth in how many people you're obtaining in your business or how many sales you're making. I believe as your expertise and knowledge and skills grow in your industry and you become the expert in that field, that also the quality of your client and what you can charge goes up.
Yeah.
I actually used to sell real estate. And in that business, I did that for 3 years. I didn't make a penny for 6 months. But that 6 month, I closed 3 deals and made $20,000. And I was 18 years old at that time. So that was insane to me. And, but same with that, like if I would have stuck with real estate, I probably could be doing commercial and doing $1 million deals. But my first house was like a $230,000 house. So as you grow and stick with something and continue to get those results get bigger. And so I think that's a good thing to from that first client to now, I would never do $150 for a service now because that's not my goal anymore. That's not the results I'm
Your
looking
value is
for.
higher. Your value is much higher than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you,
and
Laura?
I think that's great because it circles back to the topic, right, of results orientation. And as you may not, some people may do it and look at it on paper, margin optimization, or whatever fancy term you want to throw at it. But your time is worth more than the value that you charge that first client.
Yep.
And I think that's an important part of growth and results orientation is to always take a look at, all right, what are my margins? No matter what business you're in, what are my margins? What, my time is worth money. I'm not going to take a garbage property for, that's across town because it's going to eat up a bunch of my time. When I know my bread and butter, my wheelhouse, and the value that I can add to maybe a higher end client, right? The example, either in the property management and or real estate world. But for sure, I think that's a great point because I think you always have to be assessing not only how do I do something better, but how do I get better at my business, get better at my margin, get better at making revenue, right?
Laura, how about you? How long?
So, of course, my standpoint is a little bit different as I'm not a business owner. But so from when I first switched my career into health and wellness and health and nutrition, I was working in a gym. And then I've been with Freedom Health Centers for about 6 months now. So my approach changed very quickly, and where I thought I was going to be going into the gym world even further after I got my personal training certification, and that was the path I was kind of going. And then when I came to Freedom Health Centers, it was a whole new world that even opened up to me even more. But since coming to Freedom Health Centers, I would say it was about a week when I onboarded my first patient myself into the clinic. So that was really exciting to have that one. But yeah, I would say it took about a week.
All right, that's a good range. And for the record, mine was about 3 months as well. Not in the sales side, but on having somebody hand over the keys to probably their biggest asset in their life. So anyway, we're going to jump to a break, and then we're going to come back on the back end, keep going into this topic, and then what I want to do is dive into Laura and Kelsey's businesses a little bit more. So with that, let's do a quick break.
The difference is made possible by the following small businesses: Real Property Management Focus, the choice to make when you want to feel confident and secure in knowing that your investment is earning the profit it deserves. The Financial Point, your go-to spot for all things finance. Platinum Eagle Insurance, providing the widest range of insurance options to make insurance easy and seamless. WeatherTech General Contracting, we make your home renovation dreams a reality. Lender's Choice Credit Solutions, utilizing our attorney-backed processes and only charging clients if and when results are obtained. This is how we have made the difference for over 10,000 clients and counting. And by Power on Utilities Concierge, your one-stop shop for all of your home's essential services.
Awesome. So, diving a little bit deeper, right? We got into some of the all or nothing solution. Alternative to that is always something. I like that a lot, especially, if you do workouts and you wake up in the morning. I personally like to do them in the morning or else I don't get them done. But there's plenty of mornings where I wake up and I'm like, shit, I don't want to do this. I just want to, especially like today, it's windy, it's cold, it's nice and warm in bed. But I have taken that approach sometimes where I'm like, you know what, even if I just half-ass it, not that I'm going to intentionally half-ass it, but it's better than doing nothing. So I love that approach. So back to the business aspect and from a bookkeeping perspective. So I heard some of the big issues that you've run into, Kelsey. So taxes, tax planning lacking, expense tracking sucks, spending out of the wrong buckets. I forget some of the other ones. This was just kind of
those are probably the top three that I see people struggle with.
Okay, so knowing that that's common, and a lot of us are either guilty or maybe guilty in the future, what can we do from your perspective to avoid and stay out of the IRS's crosshairs and avoid all the issues that, of course, if you're in business to make money, if you do all these things, you're going to hurt your revenue. So how do we avoid doing all this stuff?
Well, I don't just want to say hire a Kelsey, but I mean, part of it is really like having some sort of knowledge. If you're going to be a business owner, especially like starting a small business, you're going to wear all the hats in the beginning. You're going to be the salesperson. You're going to be the marketing person. You're going to be the CEO, the CFO. You're going to be all the things. And that includes the person who keeps track of the money and how it's spent, and making sure that it's spent properly and correctly. And there are plenty of different ways for people who maybe can't afford a bookkeeper or a bookkeeping service yet. Everything's on Google. Everything's on YouTube. There are so many free, there's a service called FreshBooks. That's a very free bookkeeping source. It's not the best, but it gives you some sort of organization and a bit of a skill set behind managing the books and knowing what you're making and spending. Because the number one way to grow a business is to figure out what your bottom line is. And if you're making $100,000 a year, but you're spending $120,000 a year and you're not keeping track of that, you're going to end up at a loss every single year and be like, where's my money and why can't I do anything with it? Or your business is going to fail. Something I tell my clients, most of the time in a business, you can really only go broke once. Once you go broke, there's kind of, what do you do from there? You go and do something else. Typically people will go and start a different business or go get a job or something. So keeping track of those things, there's so many resources online. Do a little bit of research and figure out how. And then once you can afford someone to manage your books and to pay for a CPA, don't try to file your own taxes, pay for that service. It's not that expensive. It's just usually a couple $100s a year. And then as soon as you can afford someone to do your bookkeeping, an expert that actually knows it really well, you're going to be thankful. Most of my clients who have had no bookkeeper, and then I managed their books. They were like, oh my God, Kelsey, why didn't I hire you sooner? This is way better. Or people that paid $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 into taxes. When I went back and redid their books, they actually got a check back from the IRS for paying way too much into them because they didn't track expenses properly. So there's a lot of different ways you can do it, just as anything. You just need a little bit of knowledge behind it. And if you're going to run a business, that should probably be one of the biggest ones that you look into, is how you manage your finances.
Hey, Kelsey, so I used to be in that world. I ran a law firm for many years, office manager. You use QuickBooks Online?
I do. I'm QuickBooks Pro Advisor certified, but that's what I work out of is QuickBooks Online.
Have you ever done desktop?
I do not like desktop. Yeah, I've used it a couple of times, but it's not my area of expertise. No.
See, I struggle with online. I have I still do some books for some people. Get rid of them, and which is fine. But I have one that has QuickBooks Online, and I just despise it. But I've worked on desktop since 1997. So.
Yeah, so I see that a lot with people who have done bookkeeping, and they were very familiar with desktop online. Do you know they may be doing away with it?
Yeah, I know. I'm not real happy about it.
Yeah. But once you get converted to QuickBooks Online, it's going to eliminate so many of the steps you have to take that QuickBooks.
But the problem, well, if you're a pro, we can talk afterwards. I got a problem that you can see an online problem that is the system just did what it wanted to do. And I know how to fix those versus desktop. I know how to fix those.
Yeah. QuickBooks Online it tries to get a little smart and figure you out or figure out what you're going to do. But yeah, I can help you out.
All right, good. I was going to jump in here soon and stop the nerd talk. I'm glad you guys ended that part. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so a couple more practical tips, right? So tax season right around the corner. Timing, and this goes, so expense tracking, so I can relate to that because you've got, especially in my business, I hire contractors all the time to do work at our different properties. And I do have a back office service that I use, right? But even with that, the tracking of those expenses and the timely submission of them, which affects cash flow and everything else, that can be just a pain in the butt to balance. And I'm a finance guy, so I get like how the cash flow works. But even with that knowledge, it's a real pain in the butt. So I get the value of the service that you provide. And I highly recommend anybody who's juggling all that themselves. Absolutely. Call Kelsey, call somebody who you know in the business and ask for their help, or it's not the money you spend on that saves the time that you can go out and build your business.
Absolutely.
So I totally appreciate that. Now, my question is, what are the best practices, procedures that you would recommend for somebody who's struggling with expense tracking, and also the timing of how to avoid that crunch around tax time?
Firstly, have a business account. Make sure you are making your business expenses and incomes in and out of that one single account. That way you can pull a bank statement and you can see everything that's in there. To super simplify it, create an Excel sheet, literally expenses and incomes, and that's it. And keep track of that. And 100% of the time, keep track of your receipts. I tell in the digital age we are in now, no, you don't have to have a big envelope or paper box of receipts. Take a picture of it on your phone and send it to your email. A lot of digital receipts come to your email whenever you purchase anything online. Make a receipts folder and make an album in your photos in your phone to take a picture of any receipts. Then you literally have 2 files. Keep track of all your receipts because that's what you'll need when come tax time. You're not scrambling around. You already have it. Do it as the year progresses, not try to do it all in January and February before taxes. Just like I'm sure, Laura, don't go exercise for 2 weeks of the year, do it as a consistent thing throughout the whole year, and those results are going to show up. So yeah, just there's very easy, efficient ways to keep track of that kind of stuff. Like get yourself an Excel sheet, make yourself a couple of folders for receipts, and only make expenses out of your business account. Like it's really simplified if you look at it like that, but it's just getting yourself into the habit and routine, just like anything. Yep. See, you've got one of those. You don't need one of those.
That's my receipt folder.
I hope you're
like paper.
tracking those properties.
Yeah, well, the good thing is most of that's all done online, right? So
So yeah, there's a few simple steps you can take to just be better prepared. And you use Google as your friends. Like there's deadlines for things like January 31st, 1099s have to be out. April 24th, I think it is this year, taxes have to be filed. So there's like dates you have to pay attention to as a business owner. It's part of your job as an entrepreneur business owner to make sure you're doing those things in a timely manner and staying on top of them.
Nathan, you're muted, buddy.
There you go. Those are the important things from a logistical standpoint. Obviously, for success from within the financial realm of making sure your business is profitable and also doesn't get audited in a way that's going to be detrimental. But I want to talk about further the procedures and processes from a mental standpoint or mindset standpoint. We've talked a lot about that over the last year that allow you to incrementalize your goals into smaller bites and then obviously work towards those big goals. We talked a little bit earlier where when you have this big goal, like, if like Kelsey, you were talking about how so many people, they want to make $100,000 or whatever, six figure. But if they don't have small goals to get there, and a little bit larger goals, and obviously their big goal. And when they want to do that, one of the things that we've been talking about, and I've been reading in this book is, you don't just want to say, I want to make six figures. You want to say, I want to make X number of dollars by this date. Because when you say that, even if you don't get there at that time, you set a new date, your mind is subconsciously working on that. Like, I've been doing a lot of reading up on just how powerful the mind is, how it works, the reticular activating system, to nerd out for you there, Brian. But man, it is crazy what we train ourselves to do that's detrimental to our growth, and then what we need to do to train ourselves to be to be a positive. I can't think of words today, but help us actually move towards where we want to go. And so I'd like to kind of discuss a little bit of that. Maybe we start with Laura. What are some things that you do to kind of personal develop yourself, and then help you, establish your goals, and then know that you're actually moving, checking those off, whether they're day goals, week goals, month, 10 years down the road, whatever that looks like.
Yeah. So you're talking personal goals here?
Personal, business, whatever that looks like. Because I think if you don't have personal goals within your business, then it's almost like your business is the whole thing.
Yeah.
That sucks. You don't want that to happen either.
Well, right. Absolutely. I mean, and for me, I have goals. I mean, I am a very firm believer on practice what you preach, right? So all the same goals that I have for each and every one of my patients are goals and expectations I have for myself. So that's the first one is, I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say, this is what you should be doing, but I'm over here doing this. So that is one thing that keeps me on point and keeps me on one of my goals just for my health and wellness. And then within the business, of course, like each Monday, I have goals I set for the week of certain numbers that I want to hit. But within those numbers, you touched on it a little bit, Nathan, it's important to have those SMART goals, right? We've all heard those SMART goals and having them be specific and measurable and attainable, realistic, and time-based, right? Because we do have to be specific. If someone were to come to me and say, I want to lose weight, okay, well, what does that mean? Like, how much do you want to lose? What are your expectations as how long it will take? Because if it's not realistic, I'm going to refocus that and be like, well, we need to take a different approach here. So I think it's really important in our personal development. I mean, you'll always find me reading too many books for my own good at one time. I need to get better about that.
Guilty.
Oh, gosh.
I finish one, then move on to the next.
Why do you think you can read 12 books at once? I don't understand.
So I can attest to Nathan's guilty of this because he was showing me the one that we talked about on the show last month. And he's like, oh, shit, it's in here somewhere. And he's rifling through his briefcase and he pulls out 1. No, that's not it. 2, that's not it. Here it is. It's like his fourth book.
Yeah.
Some of those I'm not even reading. I'm just thinking about that I should be reading them. And it's like, I just can't pick and choose. It's not good.
Yeah. So that's honestly, I've been trying to get better about that in this new year of sticking with one and completely finishing it before I move on to the next. I'm guilty of that. I'll start all the things, right? We want to do all the things, and we're like, let me think about it. But then it's like, then you get you're like, I'm trying to do too many at once, and then again, it's that all or nothing mentality, right? And you're just like, I don't even know which one I want to go back to. So yeah, I mean, but personal development books, I'm constantly reading on personal growth. I'm constantly reading on keeping myself educated in my field, right? So nutrition and nutrition science is something that's always changing. So like I have to always keep myself educated within it. So those are my personal goals. And then of course, tying that in, my goal is to help people. So the more people I'm in contact with, the better I'm able to help, the more that they know people that I can help. And that's really how I kind of set that trajectory.
Love that. Love that. All right. We got our next commercial break. I think it's our final one before the end. On the backside of this, I want to dive deeper into your whys, guys.
Today's show is brought to you by the following small businesses.
Liberator Health Insurance, the best value in the health insurance industry. Are you paying too much for your health insurance? Would you like to hear about an alternative to your current health insurance? How about an average of around 30 to 50% savings on your premiums? At Liberator Health Insurance, you can see any doctor, any hospital, small copays, and low deductibles. And there is no referral to see a specialist, all with very affordable premiums. For a quick quote, call or text Greg Holberg today at 214-886-4688.
And by Wines with an Appeal. Wines with an Appeal offers entertaining and educational wine tasting events to help you fundraise, recognize your clients, or just have a fun night out with friends. At our fundraising events, we strive to provide a nice variety of reds, whites, sparkling, and dessert wines. We typically offer a good variety of the core varietals, along with some interesting blends. We sample wines from all over the world. Call or email for details on how it works and how your event could be available at no cost to you. And now back to the show.
Awesome. Thanks again to our sponsors. And I do want to give a quick shout out also to our co-hosts, obviously today, but our other co-hosts across the show. I saw it scrolling on the bottom down there, Lyndon. Thank you for pointing that out to the audience. There we go. So our numbers, right? We are the number one show, number one ranked show on The Difference. Now we've been at it for a little bit longer than others, but the margins, I don't want to break my arm patting myself on the back, but I will break my arm patting our co-host on the back, because not only were we the number one show, but we were the number one show by a mile. So that's a tribute to you guys, the awesome guests you guys bring on, and really the insight that they're able to provide. So I say that, again, not to break my arm patting myself or you guys in the back. It is a thank you to you guys, but it's also a testament to the folks that come on the show, the business owners, the sales individuals that are out there that are trying to get their name out there. This platform reached 200,000 people last year. It takes a lot of happy hours and lunches and lunch and learns to reach 200,000 people across a lifetime, let alone in 1 year. So, for anybody out there listening that is interested in being a guest on the show, potentially being a sponsor, or even, down the road being a co-host, look us up, talk to us, reach out to me, reach out to Lyndon. Happy to share more information on it, but the numbers are they don't lie, right? It's we've come a long way, and I'd be remiss, Lyndon, if I didn't say thank you to you for starting The Difference with a great vision, and it's really taken off over the last year and a half, 2 years that we've been doing it. So it wouldn't be here without you. So thank you for that. Now,
thank you, Brian. We'll pat you on the back if you won't pat yourself on the back.
I got long arms. I think I can reach, but appreciate that. But it does, again, kind of, we went through a long year last year again, right? But if you look at the growth numbers that we saw in the show throughout The Difference, and especially here in Real Talk, it's good to reflect back and just realize, yeah, we can make a pretty good impact in the small business community here in DFW and hopefully on a larger scale. So that being said, I said we wanted to come back and learn your whys. So Kelsey, Laura, this is where we get to share, you get to share why you got into what you do and perhaps a winding path as to how you got there, perhaps not. But, I'd love to hear this. This is a section that I love to hear and that our audience can get to know you a little bit better. So, Kelsey, let's start with you. You shared a little bit about the business, but tell us how you got that business started, what the vision was to get you there and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So my vision is actually a lot bigger than bookkeeping. The reason I started this business was I have a special needs daughter who's almost 5 now, and she needs me to be home with her. She needs me, mom, here full time. And I have kind of always been an entrepreneur since I was about 18. I got into real estate, did that for a few years, but then I had my daughter. And once she was born, it was just totally different in my idea of like, mom can't be out of the house. I can't be working 50, 60 hours a week, showing properties and running all over the place. So for a while, I just kind of did like freelance type of stuff. I did some marketing stuff. I owned a digital marketing agency for a couple of years, but there was never anything that like drove me to do that. It was just trying to make an income and trying to support myself and feed my kids. I have a 10-year-old and 5-year-old daughters. So I started this business 14 months ago now, but the idea originated about 18 months ago. So it's been about a year and a half. But what brought me to it was I have a blog called Raw Mom Blog. And my goal with that was to help other women like me, single moms, stay-at-home moms, special needs moms, anyone who wanted to provide a really healthy income and lifestyle for them and their family while still being able to be at home and not missing out on those moments. But what I was missing was the tool to show people how to do that. I was like, well, I can't teach people how to sell real estate. I know how to do that, but I can't tell everyone to go out and get a real estate license. You can't teach everybody digital marketing because some people just don't work that way. They just don't understand that. And it's a skill set that has to be learned over time. But what could I teach people that they didn't need any formal education or a whole lot of money to start? And I stumbled across virtual bookkeeping right in the time of COVID, when everyone was starting these businesses and small businesses were looking for bookkeepers, because virtual bookkeeping is kind of a new thing. As I said before, like a lot of people think of a bookkeeper as like some little lady who sits in your office and, writes all the numbers and checks and balances. Like that's not what it is anymore. It's a very virtual online type of thing. And everything can be managed from one laptop. And it's not anything you need a license for, a certification for. You can literally just learn the skill. And so that's what I did. And my bigger vision is to grow my Raw Mom blog and coaching to teach multiple other, like I would love to teach thousands of other women how to start a business like this, to start a virtual bookkeeping business, to show them that you can be a mom and a business owner and a stay-at-home mom all at the same time while still producing a really good income. This is a business you can build. I could manage this business up to $250,000 a year, probably on my own without hiring anybody else. I would probably be working a full-time, 40, 50 hour a week job, but there's not many businesses that I know that you can start for very little. It cost me under $2,000 to start this business. I made that ROI back within 45 days and I've only grown. It's only been better every single month. So really what drives me is my kids. They need me. They need mom at home. And obviously, and we still have to make an income and provide. So I stumbled across bookkeeping about a year and a half ago. And since then I learned the skill, built the business, and it's honestly been the best business decision I ever made. Just because I'm still not even working full time and making $10,000 a month. Like there's not hardly many things that I think that you can do that at. And I'm able to be fully present with my kids.
That's awesome. I just want to attest real quick because I want to cut off Laura's time. Kelsey is she's always posting on Facebook. She's really good at that balance of just life posting and business posting. And so you can just tell that she is very genuine, has a passion for what she does. And I mean, when she says she wants to, inspire people, especially women, to start their own business, I mean, it's 100% like through and through a passion of hers. And so it's that kind of passion that I know that she'll definitely be successful. So I didn't want to.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Laura, tell us your why. How'd you get into health coaching? How'd you partner with Freedom Health Centers? Am I saying that right? Yeah.
Yes.
How'd you get there, and just what is it that inspires you to kind of do what you're doing every day?
Yeah. So I'm originally from California. I always joke with people, don't hold it against me. I got to Texas as quick as I could.
Amen.
But I worked in diagnostic imaging for about 10 years. And when my husband and I moved to Texas about 5 years ago, they kept me on, and I transitioned to working from home as their director of client services, which was great at the time because it allowed me to move. But I'm a very social person. I love being around people, and working from home was not good for me. Like, I felt very isolated. I started sinking into anxiety and depression. Like, I was not in a good place. I started putting on weight, and I just overall wasn't feeling well, wasn't taking care of myself. So I made a change in my own health and wellness journey in 2019. And it completely just changed my world. I lost a total of 85 pounds and felt like a completely different person, started training for a marathon, got into my fitness again. I grew up playing soccer. I was always an athlete. I just really had felt like I had lost a piece of myself along the way. So that's what transitioned me into wanting to help other people in the same way. And that's what keeps me going. That's what my why is now. I've had so many people that have come to me. I made that decision in my health and wellness journey going on 3 years ago now. And I had people that would come to me and say, I've been watching you for like a year now, and now I want to know, like, can you help me? And I'm like, yeah, what took you so long? Here I am. But knowing that I'm inspiring and influencing people to take that same step in their life is what keeps me motivated to keep going. And when I sit down and help somebody, it's a reminder, honestly, when I have someone that has a very similar story to me of where I came from and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I found Freedom Health Centers. I was looking to, I had been commuting out to Rockwall for about a couple years. And it was really taking its toll on me, an hour there, an hour back. McKinney, I just love McKinney. It's my community. It's where I want to be. So I was looking to come closer to home. And Freedom Health Centers opened up, and the way that Freedom Health Centers is built is the way that I'm built. So everything just felt so right. It's an integrated medical office. So we have 2 chiropractors, 3 nurse practitioners. We have a full rehab team, massage therapy. So really it's like 5 heads under one building where we're able to help people in any way that they need it. And then, of course, I'm in nutrition and weight loss. So the fact that they lined up with how they wanted to help people and the vision they had, it lines up with me. And for me to be a piece of that is how I ended up here. And I'm just honored to be able to help people in the way that I'm able to.
It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I'm her biggest pain in the butt client.
Me too. I'm pretty sure you are.
No, it was funny. So Carrie and I knew each other from before through Master Networks and all that. And when I first came here and then I saw she was a patient, I was like, hey, I get to help you and more. So it was really cool you were a bonus, Carrie.
Oh, yay.
And Carrie did say that she was delighted and just ecstatic when she found out that you guys are going to get paired up, because she said that she can call me on my shit and feel good about it. So
she can, and she does.
Yes.
Well, I love those whys, guys. I mean, that's why we get into business. That's why you can tell, as Nathan said very well, you guys are passionate about what you do. You live it, right? You there's no better sales technique than say, here's where I was 3-4 years ago. Here's where I am now from a health journey standpoint. Here was my idea of the Raw Mom blog, and here's where I'm taking it. The bigger vision picture, and here's how I'm actually executing. So I love to hear those stories. So thank you guys for sharing that. Unfortunately, we are up against it on the clock here. Our hour is almost up. So again, I said it up front. I love this hour because I get to sit down Copeland's chiming in there. But I do love this hour because I get to meet new folks and get to noodle around on either business topics, go deep on that, and joke around at the same time. So thank you guys, Kelsey, Laura. Thank you guys for joining us today. Carrie, Nathan, thanks again for another awesome show. Again, going back to the success of Real Talk over the last year, and again, part of the difference. I couldn't have done any of this without you guys, and always engaging, always awesome to have you on the show. So thank you so much. Lennon, again, thank you for all you do for Real Talk and for the difference and our small business owners out there. We are coming back next week. Same business topic, last week of the month, I believe, and that is results orientation. So again, we will see everybody next week. Again, thank you to the guests. Thank you to my co-host. Thank you to Lyndon. See you next Thursday. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.